Cast, and we're talking Subway Series. The Yankees just lost 2 out of 3 to one of the worst teams in baseball, the New York Mets, and they did it in probably the most grueling way possible. They had a 3-run lead, handed the ball to their closer, who's been, you know, good. I'm not gonna say great because there are games that he's made way too close for comfort. But he puts runners on first and second, no outs, gets 2 quick outs, and then a back-breaking 3-run home run to a player that's not even good, in Tyrone Taylor. And it just hurt because the Yankees needed a series win today like water to avoid what the reality is now, a 2-7 road trip where they did not win a series. Their offense sucked. The bullpen was a disaster for the 3-game set at Citi Field. It was a disaster the other day in Baltimore. The 2 games in Baltimore, it was a disaster. An unmitigated disaster from the bullpen. So now your closer's springing a leak because Bednar's pretty much unpitchable for a bit. He needs a couple days now to breathe because he blew last Sunday, he blew today. And last Sunday, I kind of gave him a little bit of a break. Today, he doesn't get a break. Today was pathetic. And you have now a bullpen that is frankly just bad. Like, they stink. Ryan Garcia of Empire Sports Media tweeted this out a few hours ago. And it's such a real stat. It's hold on, I'm trying to get the best. Oh, that's good. Okay, that works. The Yankees have a negative 110 wins above wins WPA from their bullpen, which is the 5th worst mark in all of Major League Baseball. This offseason, the Yankees added 3 players to their bullpen. Paul Blackburn, they brought back. Ryan Yarbrough, they brought back. And Angel Javi, who's on the IL, and when he was healthy, he stunk. Everyone else remains the same. Brent Hedrick is now in a full-time role. He wasn't last year. Jake Bird's up. And, he made a bad pitch today that made the game 2 runs closer. Ryan Yarbrough shouldn't even pitch that inning. And the Yankees would have won the game if not for that hit. So, the Yankees bullpen that we all knew was going to struggle this year. So, a negative 110 wins probability added, which means they've lost multiple games. The Yankee bullpen is just a bad game. They're just bad. Like, putting a game in their hands, does anyone feel confident? I sure as hell don't. They stink. And then this is what the front office or Cashman, if he's ever pressed on this, will bring up. I tweeted this earlier because I thought this was kind of important to mention. The Yankee bullpen. The Yankees bullpen has the 10th best bullpen ERA in all of Major League Baseball. Well, that's good. Well, then you have to look deeper. The Yankee bullpen's bad. They stink. David Bednar can no longer get an excuse. And I wanted to excuse him for a bit because I do think he's good. I don't think he, though, is a closer. I think if the Yankees had truth serum given to them, I think they would say he's better as a setup man. Unfortunately, that's not the reality. He's your closer, and with him springing a leak, who's really your other option to take the 9th inning? Because it sure as hell isn't Camilo Duval, because Camilo Duval's bad. I know he was fine. He was serviceable today, even though he was behind on every batter he faced. He somehow worked a scoreless inning. I'm trying to get this to fix. He somehow worked a scoreless inning. despite being behind on every batter he faced. Fernando Cruz scares you. You don't trust him in a big spot. So who do we really have? Their WAR, wins above replacement, is 1.6. Their F WAR, which if you guys know me and know the way I write and know the stories I've put out there, win probability added is, WAR F WAR is the one I pay more attention to over B WAR. I that's just that I like F WAR better. I think it rates players a little bit better. It counts walks and errors and stuff like that. Um, WAR so their F WAR is 10th best in baseball. That's what this is ranked on. Their F WAR. You look at the Padres. Obviously, they have Miller. You look at Toronto, who's coming into town. Right. Obviously, Tampa's not up there. Right. You look at some of these other bullpens. You just face the Mets. You already faced Milwaukee. Uh, the Dodger bullpen can be had at times. You also look at this. What bullpen has the most wins from it? Atlanta. Which bullpen here has the most losses from it? Toronto. Toronto's bullpen, in terms of win-loss, is under 500. So what this pretty much means, the Yankee bullpen is just bad. You can't trust them in a big spot. And you couldn't trust them all series. Yesterday, they had one job, and it was to keep you in the game for the Yankee offense to come back. And the Yankee offense had multiple opportunities yesterday to come back and didn't. Especially, highlighted bases loaded, nobody out against Luke Weaver. And then you get to Austin Wells. Then you get to the offensive catcher position. Because Aaron Boone did the smart thing today. And Aaron Boone decided that this was the right thing. Boone did the right thing. He decided today to go to who did he pinch hit? Rosario for Escara and the sac fly. It resulted in a sac fly. In that big inning with the drop pop up and Manaea coming into the game and Freddie 5 innings coming out. Austin Wells then had to come into the game. He got 2 at bats. He saw 2 pitches. In the highest leverage at bat after the game was blown, after he called the hanging curveball that Bednar let hang, he did this.
Ground it to first.
He grounds into a double play off Devin Williams on the first pitch. He couldn't even take. It disgusts me to see how happy he is. He had the opportunity there to work an at bat, get a sac fly, make it a little bit tougher for the Mets in the bottom half of the inning, especially when Timmy Hill got the first out and the runner didn't advance. Did the runner advance? The runner might have advanced. Oh yeah, the bunt. It was a good bunt. He got the first out. That bunt wouldn't have meant anything, because then it would just been the tying run. And then obviously, what did he do? He hit Bench. No, Bench hit the walk-off. He hit the pinch hitter. So Tim Hill in extra innings, that's a failed experiment. We've known that for years. That happened last year. It's happening again this year. Like, Tim Hill is a contact pitcher. He isn't suited for extra innings, but he was the Yankees' only option for extra innings because they used everybody. Why? Because they decided today to start a rookie because they wanted him to just slot into the spot for Garrett Cole when Cole returns, which I understand that. I maybe would have waited a turn, and I would have flip-flopped, and I would have started Weathers today, because I think Weathers gives you a better chance to go a little bit deeper into the game, and his stuff is better now. Elmer, I think, had a good outing. He gave 1 run in, 4 1/3, 4 2/3? He had 4 1/3. He had a good outing today. He did enough to win this, to get the Yankees a win today. I thought he looked much better today than he did in his prior outings against the Rangers, the 2 games against the Rangers. So his development is good, and he's earned a spot on the MLB roster for now. He intrigues me out of the bullpen as a bulk guy, as possibly a high leverage guy if that position becomes available, if the Yankees need someone back there. Now, Boone did say in his post game that they're going to talk about a change, like a bullpen move before tomorrow's game against Toronto. I don't know if that's designating Blackburn or Yarborough for assignment. Don't know, and this isn't sourced. That should totally be on the table, though. I would love for that to happen because I think they're both wastes in that bullpen. I think they're both horrible to have as options in the bullpen. The Yankees, he should not be an option in the bullpen. Yarborough or Blackburn. So I don't know if that would be Curvin Castro coming back up. We saw him last week against the Brewers. I don't know if that would be giving Giovanni Cruz a shot. Who I know he excites people, velocity and all that. I don't know how well he would do up here. I was looking at some of the AAA numbers lately. I don't know. Brent Hedrick has been very overused in spring in the league. So now you have your two highest end guys have bad for a week now, and now you have a problem. Now Baron Boone has to be a manager, and he has a problem. He has to manage this, and he has to manage it right. You have now the biggest week of your season coming up. Now, the Subway Series today would have hurt. I think it hurts more because it's against the Mets. And you have the Subway Series over, thank God, because I liked when the Subway Series was just 2 games. It is the most overhyped thing I've ever seen in my life. The Yankees and Mets are not really rivals, okay? One team is probably going to come back and probably make the wild card because I I don't think they're going to die. The Mets, I think they'll be fine. Especially, I think today's going to be used as a spark plug and spark their season. And the Yankees, it's hard for me to say what others have said on social media. Until proven otherwise, they're the best team in the American League. Well, Tampa Bay has been really good, though I don't think they're going to fall off. They've been really good. And I think that over time, they might give the Yankees a run for their money. I don't know that. It's something that can't be ruled out at this point. The Yankees have issues, and one of them is now offensive. One of their issues is now offensive, and it's the catcher position. Austin Wells is a disgrace. I mentioned the ground into a double play. His WRC plus is 88 on the season. Wait, no. I'm wrong. His WRC plus since taking over as the Yankees catcher. The Yankees starting catcher, his WRC plus is 88. His current WRC plus, according to Fangraphs, is in the 70s. Well, I'm pulling it up. His WRC plus, according to Fangraphs right now, is 64. He has a 64 WRC plus. You know he was projected to have? He was projected to have a 103 WRC plus. He was projected to accumulate 3.4 FWAR. His FWAR as of right now is 0.3. Right now, Austin Wells is completely playing himself out of a job because the Yankees don't have they can't have black holes all over the field. Okay? Anthony Volpe had a great day today. I'll say it, he had a very good series at Citi Field. He was on base all 3 games. He walked in all 3 games. They were scared to throw him a strike for whatever reason. I don't know why. And he had 2 hits today, and both of them were big hits. So good for Anthony. No, the double wasn't a big hit. The 2-run single, huge hit. So good for Anthony Volpe. I don't have much faith in him, but I want him to succeed. Because I want every player on the team to succeed. But I have to call it like I see it. He had a great series. Jazz Chisholm, great series. He had a hit in all 3 games. Good for him. I'm happy to see Jazz heating up because the Yankee lineup needs Jazz. Cody Bellinger continues his cold hitting on the road. Ben Rice had a good series. I guess he had 2 home runs in the series. Didn't do a whole lot else. I think he didn't have a hit last night. He had 3 hits in game 1. He had 1 hit today. Not a whole great, but I'm not really worried about Rice. Judge needs to be accountable because what's Judge done lately? Judge is Judge, and Judge is always gonna be Judge is Judge, and you expect a lot from him. He didn't particularly have a great series either. He walked a ton, sure. But did he have the big hit that the Yankees desperately needed in a big spot? No. It continues, and then the narrative of when's Judge ever going to get the big hit, it's going to continue to grow when he doesn't get the big hit. He had this to say. He told the media after the game, I got the quote from SNY Yanks. The boys are playing hard, though. That's, I think, the biggest thing that the guys are playing tough. That the guys are playing tough and making the plays they need to, but just coming up a little bit short. Well, you're included in that, Aaron. What have you done? What'd you do? You walked. Good job. You're not being paid. It's hard to get on Judge. It really is hard because of how great he is. But the Subway Series, though I don't think it's a big series, the players play up for it, and that you could tell. And a lot of fans do care. I could care less about this stupid series. And yeah, you're gonna comment. You would care if the Yankees won the series. Yeah, you know what? You're probably right. But you know what? Even when the Yankees won the series last year, it was a great series, and I was happy to have. I was happy to have watched them win it. With the Bellinger Grand Slam and all that. That was great. This, I, it was some of the most painful baseball I've ever watched. Even Game 1. And Cam Schlittler did Cam Schlittler things. He should be the series MVP because no one else did jack compared to what he did. And you know what? I don't know what Carlos Rodon yesterday was. I don't even know what to do with him because he's not. I know he should get a little bit of a break, and I'm gonna give him a break till June. He gets a break till the first June start with his command and walking people. But the wild pitch can't happen. The E1 can't happen. They are in a very, very tough spot right now as a ball club. They went 2-7 on the road trip. They have lost 8 of their last 10 games, or 7 of their last 10 games, whatever it is. They just keep losing. They can't seem to put a good game together. When the starting pitching is on, and the bullpen is on, their pitching is awful. I mean their hitting's awful. They're not hitting, except for really today, with runners in scoring position. They have issues, and they need to be addressed. And you know what? They might need to be addressed soon. Now, it's hard to address the bullpen now in trade talks because no one's trading bullpen chips. So I get that that's tough. And I guess I get that would be an issue for Brian Cashman. You gotta get someone up here. They miss Giancarlo Stanton so much, it isn't funny. And Jose Caballero. And what I was saying with Volpe, if he has a good series against Toronto, because I fully believe, and he was taking ground balls today, that the Caballero, will be back on Friday. He'll be back Friday, so I fully expect I think Max Schumann should be cut. I think he should be cut ahead of tomorrow purely on his 10th inning at bat today, which was a complete fucking waste of an at bat, and he needs to go. He's a waste of space. Him and Austin Wells can both get on a fucking missile to the moon. I can't, to the sun. I can't with either one of them. Max Schumann has pissed me off now. That at bat was a waste of. He's up 2-0 and he's trying to bunt. Work the at bat. My God. Get on base. You need base runners. What's a bunt gonna do? And Austin Wells, take a fucking pitch, man. I was a big Austin Wells fan. He is such a disappointment. I don't want to see him at bat ever. He is just deplorable. So I wrote a story about it. I included Ascar's name in the story. Because Ascara hasn't been better. You know what? Let's play him for 2 weeks and see, because he might get hot. I've seen more plate discipline and quality at bats out of Ascara than I did out of him. At least Ascara's outs are deep fly balls to the track. Or fly balls. And not ground balls to double plays. I would have rather had Ascara in the at bat with first and third, no one with one out against Williams than I would have Wells. And Wells should have had an advantage in that at bat. That's the most frustrating part. Austin Wells should have had the advantage in the at bat because he caught Devin for a year and knows what he throws and knows how shit he actually is. Nope, first pitch double play. They are frustrating to watch. They are a poor ball club with certain junctures. They strike out way too much. John Schmaltz said it. It annoyed me that it came from his mouth. It is the truth. They strike out too much. They do not put the ball in play enough. I don't want to hear that they need to be more like the Rays or the Brewers or last year's Blue Jays or this team or that team. Stop. That doesn't win you a championship. Did any of those teams win? No. Was Toronto close to winning? Yes. Did they actually win? No. If they have won, you have a little bit of an argument. I would rather balls in play. I'd rather a little bit of chaos. But you know what? I like slug. I like home runs. Which is right. I'd rather have Trent Grisham patrolling center field, even though his at-bats were deplorable today. He shouldn't lead off ever. Over a guy like Stephen Kwan. Right? Who Yankee fans have wanted for. Someone called WFAN today. The Mark Malusis show before the Yankee game. I had to run out. It's for those who don't live in New York. It's like 90 degrees here now for like the first time all year, so you might hear fans and air conditioning blowing on me, and that's why. So I watched the game outside today, which was nice and easy for me to launch suntan lotion across the lawn when they blew the save. But we have a little pool in our backyard, and I had to get a chemical for it, and then I needed to get something else from Walmart. I did a pickup order. So I ran right down the road. So my dad and I are going to do that and run another errand before coming back. And he had WFAN on in the car, and someone called up and is like, they need to get rid of Wells and Grisham and McMahon, and they need to trade for Ryan Jeffers, who I mentioned in a story today. So that I agree with, and Stephen Kwan. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, has anyone taken a look at Stephen Kwan's numbers this year? And you want that on your team? His underlying metrics sucked last year, and this year they're there. He's horrible. He's been awful this year. Excuse me. He's been awful. And you want Stephen Kwan? I'd rather have Trent Grisham, who can pop a 3-run homer when you might need it, than Stephen Kwan that might get a single because he doesn't hit home runs. The Yankees need to figure out the leadoff position, because I would like to see a little bit of Ben Rice there. Like, I'd like to see Ben Rice get like 4 or 5 leadoff starts in a row a week, maybe 2 weeks in a row, just to see what it looks like, and Trent Grisham down the lineup, because I think Trent Grisham's bat plays better down in the lineup, actually, in the middle or lower third of the lineup, because then at least you have a threat to go deep. Like, Wells isn't a threat to anyone. Volpe isn't really a go deep threat. Maybe he'll walk. Caballero wasn't a threat to go deep, but he's the threat to get on base. If you bet Caballero when he returns, hopefully Friday 6th, and Grisham 7th, and then you have Caballero can get on base and Grisham can hit it out, that works. 8 and 9 are probably going to be a black hole till Stanton comes back. And when Stanton comes back, then Jones goes down. And your lineup gets deeper, because the other part of this on this road trip is Spencer Jones has come up, and he's trying to be a big leaguer. He's trying to work big league at bats, and it's hard. I'm not saying this is easy. His at bats haven't been great so far. He hasn't been tearing the cover off the ball. He hasn't hit a home run like we all want him to. And it's hard. I can't really get on the kid yet. I mean, it's a week. But it is important to note that he's had having Giancarlo Stanton in that position, or even Jason Dominguez, who was actually hitting, over having Spencer Jones, and this is his first lick of the big leagues, I think would make a tremendous difference. And it would lengthen out the Yankee lineup. And right now it's not. And it's an unfortunate spot for him to be in. But it's the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation is, without Giancarlo Stanton, your lineup is just not as good or as productive as it needs to be to win games consistently. They're going to go home. This is a big homestand for them. They're playing 7 games in a row against division rivals that you absolutely need to beat before you go on the road to face, I believe it's the Royals and the Athletics. The Athletics beat you. They just got taken 2 out of 3 against the Giants, so the Giants stink. You should be able to beat them at their place, because that place is a bandbox. The balls that were getting out of there the other night, my God. Like, could you... I mean, it's kind of fun to imagine, like, Barry Bonds hitting in that ballpark. He hit one back to the Coliseum. That ballpark is a bandbox. So, 4 against Toronto. I'm going to pull up the probable starters. The probable starters for both the Yankees. They missed Gausman. If this works, which it's not. The Yankees actually get a break because they missed Kevin Gausman. But they're going to get Dylan Cease and Trey Savage. Now, Dylan Cease, I think they can get. Savage has struggled against them. That's going to be a pitching matchup that will be talked about for a very long time. The one we're going to get Wednesday. Yeah, it was. Oh, they play a lot in a row now. They have 10 in a row. They never have days off. Ever. They now play 10 in a row. 7 at home. 3 against Kansas City. There's a 3:40 Monday start. Who the fuck planned that? And then, it's Memorial Day. That's why. Okay, I stand corrected. And then they go to the Athletics. And the weekend they're at the Athletics, coverage is going to be like really skewed. I'm going away for the weekend. And then they're off June 1st, which is nice. They have 2 off days sandwiched. And then they play Cleveland, Boston, go to Cleveland, off day, go to Toronto, off day. And then they play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 in a row. They need to fix this schedule. The Mariners had one hit. That's all they got, one goddamn hit. You can't say goddamn on the air. Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway. If you know the reference, you know baseball. Sunday Night Baseball just wrapped up, and the Padres just swept the Mariners. I think that's what it is. Yeah, the Padres just swept Seattle. I'm still trying to get the probable starters up. But what I was saying was Wednesday's game is going to be a game to remember for a long time for baseball fans because it's going to be Trey Savage against Cam Schlittler. Here. Okay, hold on. Restream is like bugging out right now. It's Patrick Corbin against Ryan Weathers. It's Dylan Cease against Will Warren. It's Trey Savage against Cam Schlittler, and then it's Carlos Rodon versus to be determined. I don't know who to be determined could be. I don't know how he pitches, if we're going to be honest here. But they miss Kevin Gausman, who gives them fits at times. Now, Trey Savage is giving them fits so far. I think he's made like one start or two starts against the Yankees. It's one or two, and he's giving them fits. Let me see on the MLB app. Matchups. Bellinger. Oh wait, no, that's Patrick Corbin. Excuse me. Bellinger has good numbers against Patrick Corbin. Yeah, so the one start Savage had against the Yankees was in the playoffs where he carved them up and Fried imploded. Vladdy Guerrero was 4 for 5 against Schlittler. Jesus. Schlittler, that's the one lineup that he's like struggled against so far. Is that one for whatever reason he has struggled immensely against the Toronto lineup. Obviously last year in the playoffs he did good against them, but other than that, not really. What Schlittler's done against everyone else. Now he is a different pitcher this year, so maybe that's something. I really hope the Yankees right now have to come home. They have to minimum go 4-3 on this homestand. I think they go 2-5 because the Rays are then going to get Elmer Rodriguez on Friday, Ryan Weathers Saturday, and Will Warren Sunday. They haven't faced Weathers. They haven't faced any of the three. I have no idea who the. Let me see who the Rays are pitching this week. Hopefully the Yankees. Hopefully, I think they might miss Nick Martinez. That would be ideal if the Yankees could miss Nick Martinez. Hold on. Let me find. Let me find who the Rays are playing this week. Baltimore. Of course, they're not right on my homepage here. So the Rays are playing the Orioles this week. Okay, so tomorrow it's Rogers against McClanahan. So that means the Yankees will see McClanahan. Who they pitched today? Okay, so it'll be Rasmussen, McClanahan, and Jax. So the Yankees do miss Nick Martinez. Rasmussen, I feel like they've been okay again. They've been competent against him in the past. And McClanahan is McClan. He's Shane McClanahan. I mean, what else are you going to say? He's been very good. So the Yankees have a big week cut out for them. Really big week. They could be like 7 games back in the division next Sunday, or they could be like 2 games up, or somewhere in between. They're 3 back right now because they lost today and the Rays won. Toronto could be 500 leaving the Bronx if they sweep you. And the Yankees' expected win-loss record is 31-16, which means they're underperforming by 4.5 games, which should just add insult to injury. So maybe at some point they'll start stacking wins, but it better be quick because this is getting old. And they absolutely need him back. They need Stanton back. They need Stanton back really, really bad. And they need to figure this bullpen out and hope that in 2 weeks the return of Garrett Cole is really good. I'm gonna end it there. Thank you very much. Have a great night. Let's hope for a better series against the coming up against Toronto and Tampa. This was a really, really tough week and really tough games to watch.